Hey guys, so with this episode, it marks the beginning of the brand new arc of season 5, or My Villain Academia as it's more commonly known. But to start off the episode, we immediately jump into the reveal of Shinzo being granted a spot at the hero course starting second year. And when I first read this in the manga at the time, I didn't like how it was being quote unquote handed out to Shinzo. Yeah, shows how much I was paying attention at the time. But revisiting this moment in this arc as a whole makes me realize how the entire exercise was basically Shinzo's test to see his potential as a student for the hero course. Because, which no duh, but I'm saying even when he wasn't in a battle and just observing the fights, he was still being monitored and judged by the teachers on just his skills of observation and being able to make judgments. Plus, there's the obvious point. It was that this, and you look at this whole thing, it was never actually explicitly said that Shinzo had to win his matches to pass. So, yeah, long story short, he definitely earned his spot. And it is a moment like this that really shows that unless they're in a battle with an actual villain, the series will still take time to recognize effort over victory. Um, Also, without giving away Shinzo getting a spot in the hero course, also without giving anything away, Shinzo getting a spot in the hero course I think will make a lot more sense narratively going forward because they're especially after the big turning point of this series. Like this series is headed for a very big turning point, and I think that's where we see Shinzo and the hero course come into play. I think in some way. Now, with that said, immediately after we jump into Izuku training with All Might and Bakugo, and it's little scenes like this and the accompanied flashback where I really like to take moments from the anime and compare notes to my knowledge from the manga. And if nothing else, this episode really showed that All Might definitely knows a lot more of what's going on than he'll let on. And even if a lot of it's just theorizing, just the fact that Izuku has access to Black Whip at all and as well is like all proving a lot of uh, a lot of All Might's like theories correct right now. Even more than that though, Bakugo's comment about One for All being an offshoot or a part of All for One had me screaming at the screen going, boy, you have no idea how rightly you are. Like again, revisiting all this material, it's not only eerie to see all this play out, but and how these little moments are contributing to the major turning point reveal. But we as manga readers got after the war arc. But even more than that, as bonkers as this'll sound for anime only watchers, Bakugo's comment actually contributes quite a bit to a reveal about All for One. You wouldn't think would be a major plot point, but somehow ties everything together. Like let's just say like Bakugo's comment about All for One. Let's just say it actually it contributes to an aspect of All for One's character that you wouldn't really think about, but when you hear it, it does make sense. And yeah, I really love the party scene, and yeah, moving away though to a little more of a lighter tone. Uh, After all that though, we there's a little bit of an intermediate like party scene between Class 1A and Class B, and I know people are going to really just kind of laugh that off as being filler, which I guess in some ways it is, but at the same time one thing I just seeing Class 1A, Class B together being all jovial and conversing among each other after the exercise was was a lot of fun, but also cathartic, and how this will be the last time these kids get to live it up in the moment like this. Like I'm not even joking when I say from here on out, the series the series in a lot of ways does become My Villain Academia, even in times where it focuses like it really like from here on like from here on out like from here on out we've gotten little moments and everything, but from here on out the pretty much whole like story of My Hero Academia earns its pretty much saga title. Like this is where the title of the saga itself, the Age of Villains, like the Age of Villains or whatever the saga is called, earns its title from here on out. Um, with that said, with that said, one thing to talk about that I haven't before is that this season seems to be taking a few more liberties in how it's adapting the manga, because this should have been the episode where we would have get introduced to the next major antagonist of this new arc, but it kind of sidesteps the reveal altogether in place of just laying the groundwork and just laying the groundwork for the reveal next episode. And on one hand, it did kind of bug me, but on the other hand, I think making this decision did work out in the episode's favor because it put Bakugo and Todoroki in the spotlight, and was able to showcase just how far they progressed since failing the license exam the first time, and how much they've grown since then. And just the fact that Bakugo was, and honestly, just seeing little moments like the fact that Bakugo was able to defeat the villain leader with a single gauntlet, or how Todoroki had used the same technique he used against Izuku in the sports festival, but now with more control. All that kind of just from shows just how far that both of them have developed, and especially in Todoroki's case, the pretty much fact that Todoroki was able to use a more controlled and more condensed version of that same technique that he used against Izuku in the sports festival, it not only shows more control, but also just kind of reinforces something I think that was really shown about how far Todoroki has come and what he's learned, which is that Todoroki right now has really learned to balance power with restraint. Like he's not overexerting himself anymore. He is actually he's actually learned to in order to control a lot of the power he's actually learned to in order to pull back on a lot of the power he's used up to this point, and really just shown that I have these, and really shown that I can use this power I can use this power without overexerting or near killing someone with it. So yeah, I think restraint and control, I think, are the two main things that Todoroki has learned. And yeah, let's talk about what Aizawa has Monoma do in this episode by having him try but fail to copy Eri's quirk. Because this is one of those things. Because obviously, what Aizawa said he's doing in this. Said he's doing with this is that he was doing it as a means in order to teach Eri how to properly control her quirk. But the thing is, why is he doing this to begin with? And yeah, it's basically the reason is Aizawa was trying to expedite the process of getting Mirio back up and running as a hero, which in its own way shows that I think in some ways Aizawa, even though he didn't experience what Todoroki and Bakugo had experienced right then, I think he still knows something is on the horizon, and everyone needs to be back up and running in top form, because in top form for when that happens. Like, it is showing all these the series right now is showing all these little moments you wouldn't think much about, but are really kind of contributing to the overall narrative that things are about to change heavily. And even though Monoma failed to do what Aizawa wanted. Looking back on this moment, I think he may have succeeded in helping reawaken Eri's power just a bit, or turn the keyhole on one of the locks that is keeping her power restrained. And yeah, we also learned the reason as to why Momona failed to copy Izuku's quirk during the exercise is because its one fatal flaw is it can't copy stockpiling quirks, which, yeah, Monoma definitely lucked out on that one for obvious reasons. But yeah, just pretty much seeing a lot of these moments for sure is definitely it's kind of interesting looking back on Monoma, and despite how cocky or confident he may look, he does have a lot of weaknesses that he pretty much tries to compensate for. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AnyList, Crunchyroll, and be sure to hit the bell for notifications, subscribe, and just share the video, guys. Dead Knight of Anime, signing off. Later.